Hey, and welcome to another edition of Theories and Thoughts podcast with your hostess Anya. And
Fancy.
today we have Arnitra, and we will be talking about, does women value decrease and men value increase with age?
So stay tuned.
I was just about to take a selfie. I was like, well, I apologize. I said her name wrong. It is Arnitris. Is
Yeah,
that right?
I think that's right.
Because listen, today I had somebody on Facebook message me and they spell my name Aryana, and I was pissed. I was like, my name is right. Like, you had to find my name and spell it the correct way in order to find me. And when you're messaging someone, it's right at the top.
Okay. Let me just acknowledge we have some greetings over here. So Walter Brown said hello and how are you ladies feeling today? We're great, Walter. Jermaine Hearn said shalom, shalom. But Ernest said, hold on, what I'm doing here? I don't know, Ernest, but we hope you stay for a minute. Sharona said, hey y'all. Hey Sharona.
Hey, Sharonas. Is this you that just text me? Because that probably, because when we be late, she be like, oh no, that was Fashion Nova. She be like, where y'all at?
Well, thank you for caring. Hey George Montana.
Hey. So welcome to Theories and Thoughts. I am all discombobulated. Today has been a hell of a day. Anyway, how was your week, Fancy, and your day?
So look, the topic today, Jermaine, I just want to address this right quick before we lose you because we got a good topic. So today's topic is does men's value decrease while increase while women's value decrease in dating as they age. So we'll be talking with our Arnetris L Strong at 7:20. And my weekend, honestly, I just think that my next few this season that I'm in, like I'm gonna really be staying home and just like studying because it seems like I be having so much homework to get done. But I did take some time for myself, so I went and got my feet done. I mean, I got a pedicure, and what else I did? I don't know. I just kind of work, but I have a new client I'm very excited about because this is the client like that I have waited on since November of last year. And I know that it's been since November because I remember I ended up like running across, I had wrote out my new client onboarding processes and I saw the date was November the 21st of 2021. So I'm like, it has taken me almost a year to land my ideal client, but I'm very excited about working with her and just like the things that we're going to be doing. So yeah, but I mean, so that was on Thursday, but I even told my coaches about it and then one of them asked me for a proposal. So yeah, so I've been having some good days. I'm excited about that. How about your weekend?
That's good. Well, my weekend started out with it started Thursday. So Thursday we had the walk of a woman at Bottles in Bond, my new favorite restaurant in Frisco. It is owned by a black man. And it is so classy and they're real sexy. They had a woman singing. Like we had a ball.
Oh,
Like Suzanne was like, we had a time last night. My eye itch. I'm sorry. She kept we was there and she was like, this time will be tomorrow. We had a time last night. It was like a mess. We really did have a good time though. This weekend I was going out to the trail ride. Shout out to Can't Be Stop Riders. Um, out of Dallas. I'm a supporter, working on maybe possibly being a member. We gonna see, girl, cause honey, being out there ain't for the faint. But
do you
I was
actually be on a horse?
I didn't get on a horse. I got on the party wagon.
Oh, okay.
So
I just started interviewing, but I had to ask that question before I forgot.
no, you're fine. I'm going to post it actually on the I'm gonna post it actually on the video
Hmm.
on the Theories and Thoughts IG page. So y'all make sure y'all are following the Theories and Thoughts brand IG page so y'all can see our looks, y'all can see our questions, the random stuff that we post. We post some real cute stuff. So and that's that. But my boo came in town, girl.
Oh, okay.
So he had he was supposed to be going to Arkansas. He's going to see his son play football, but his son sprung his toe. And so
Oh,
he couldn't play. And he was still going to Arkansas. And his youngest son was going to drive up with his sister. But he missed his whole flight. So he paid some extra money and came to Dallas. So I got to spend Friday evening with him. So that was cool. You know, he lives in Philly. That was real cool. You know, it was our first time meeting in person. For those who don't know the backstory, he sought me out. Like he seen a picture of me and just was like, "Who is she?" or whatever. So you know, I love a man that goes after what he wants. Thanks. So,
agreed.
huh?
I said agreed.
And he went and he was just like, "Babe, are you sure you can't?" He was like, "Are you sure you can't? Figure out a ways that I can see you? Because if I'd have left when I was gonna leave to go to Italy, Texas, I wouldn't have seen him." He was like, "Babe, are you sure?" And I was like, "Let me see something." So my friend Shauna, who's a part of Can't Be Stopped riders, she actually was like, "Girl, Friday is fine, whatever." So we hung out, we had a good time. So Saturday I went to the field. So the trail ride is a big old field, and yes, they have horses. There are people who are on horses. And then you had the people on the four wheelers, you have them on the side by sides. I mean, it's a big concert out. I'm not concert, but it's a big party outside in the field. So I was doing that. It rained while we were on the ride because you actually have a trail ride doing the whole thing. It rained where we were heading for the trail ride, but on the field it didn't rain.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got wet. I was soaked. I was soaking wet. But thank God I have natural hair and it's short, right? So it worked out, but it didn't stop the party because people were wet and they were still out there enjoying life. I was all on stage. We had a good time. So that's that. Sunday, I went to Arnitris house, my best friend Arnitris house for barbecue. I was planning on laying in the bed all day and didn't. And then that evening, I went to my friend Siobhan's house and we talked and she made us a what is the trays with the crackers and the meat?
I know what you're talking about, but I
Yeah,
cannot think of it.
she made that. And yesterday I was at Suzanne's house, and I used to date her husband's cousin, and he showed up. So that's another story for another time. It was funny. So that was my weekend. I enjoyed my weekend. My weekend was dope. I didn't get much rest, but it was good. We need to talk about, and we're not gonna talk about it today because we're about to run out of little time. But we need to talk about one day just the experience of after a parent pass or someone pass, everything you had to go through. Because I had to go, because my dad's in his stuff was in Louisiana, I got to go to Louisiana and open up a bank account now. So I just want to, just so we could give that information and educate people on that. So we need to have somebody on there.
You can't do one through Capital One online?
Because I have to have the death certificate. I have to have the death certificate. I have to have it's documents I have to have, and then my
Oh.
sister has to sign too.
Oh, okay.
And
And
I
I see.
couldn't do
Oh, you can do it.
I couldn't do it here because I was going to do it through Bank of America, but I can't do it through Bank of America
Oh,
because there's no branches there for her to go in.
that's what I was about to say.
Um,
And
no, that's not the name of it. It's something like that.
is it like a I would say chocolatory or something. I've never had it, but
y'all know what I'm talking about.
hey, Chef D.
Yeah, hey Chef D, you should know what I'm talking about. Even if he put it on there, I ain't gonna be able to pronounce it. Shoot. Anyway, so while we have about 6 minutes before our guest comes on. So this caught my attention. Okay, so this weekend it's been all of us the conversation about the video on Tiffany Haddish and Arnetris Spears. I think a lot of it came out. A lot of people were saying a lot, especially because Aries had just been in the news. We talked about it last week with him talking about Lizzo. So when it came out this week, it was kind of like, okay, this is tea. A lot of people had a lot to say about it. Some people were like, this wasn't funny. A lot of people say this is a damn shame. This is that. What's your thank you. She's
I still this the board, y'all.
That's the board.
I think it's chocolatory.
I don't know. When she come on, she can pronounce it. That's how I guess. Yeah. So, Fancy, did you watch the video?
I could not finish the video. It was horrible to me. And I've never I don't know. I was not comfortable watching it. It wasn't funny, but it was kind of like, I don't know. I guess as my daughter and them say, it was cringe, like just looking at it. And I don't know. I would definitely be. I'm not saying like I see them as pedophiles or anything, but from what I've been reading, like if you look at the lawsuit, they have some different type of claims in there. Because initially, I thought people were upset just because like the video just was inappropriate. They had this young boy in his underwear, but then if you look at the lawsuit, it's like they're actually talking about just the way they list out the different allegations. It seems like it's actually more to it than that. So I don't want to misstate anything, but it's definitely worth looking further into, because it's not just about, apparently like they made allegations towards, I guess, like the whole filming process, like other stuff took place or something, the way it almost sounds. So I don't know.
I kind of have a different outlook on it than everybody else. Everybody else is like, it's bad. It is bad. It is. But it wasn't just at first when I was first hearing about it, it was like people was like, yeah, they made this video with this little boy. Well, it was supposed to be a PSA. That's the first thing. It was supposed to be a PSA. The name of it is The Mind of a Pedophile. And it says an Arnetris Spears PSA. And at the end of it, it says, be mindful, watch who you leave your children with. And that was what they were trying to convey over in the video. So what they were trying to convey was conveyed. And I feel like what they wanted to happen in the whole situation happened. Conversation is around it, and people will be mindful of these things. And it was supposed to be a shock value. That's how I feel about it. That's how I took it. Now, the mother said, when I first was looking at it, when I was first reading it, it was saying that the mother had a problem with, she said that the daughter was put in some type of position, or it was something with the daughter in, I don't want to say 2000. I want to say it was years before this video.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Years before, because I know they said that the episodes, the way the article I read, it was like they first met with the family or whatever and did some type of project with the daughter. I think that was like 8 years ago, and then they say they reached back out like a year later, which was the 7 years ago when the video was made.
Right. So here's my thing. If what happened to your daughter was sex abuse, child abuse, or whatever you're claiming it to be, why did you let your son go back and do it?
Yeah, that's a very
Second
valid
thing,
question.
second thing, I'm sure she was there through this whole thing. That I'm just I believe that the mother was there. I'm sure that Tiffany and them have their ducks in a row. I'm just believing that. Then I was looking at Hollywood Unlocked right before I came on, so you guys can look on it after this show. Hollywood Unlocked shows the mother was at a Tiffany Haddish birthday party in 2020. And it's 2022 now. And Tiffany is saying that she was tired of being extorted. She was tired of the extortion. And that's the reason why this is coming out now, because she would not let them keep trying to take money from her. So I think that it's a money grab. I don't think that the mother is just that upset about this video. The video is cringing. It is. But at the end of it, it does say, don't leave your children with, watch who you leave your children with, which you should watch who you leave your children with. And again, I believe that that it did what it was supposed to do. That's my thought. It did everything it was supposed to do. It got people to talking. It wasn't supposed to be in good taste. Because somebody was like, that wasn't funny. I was like, it wasn't supposed to be funny. Nothing about the video was supposed to be funny. It
I
says,
don't know. I'm uncomfortable with the little boy being in his underwear. Like maybe if
and
they
I
would
get
have done it a different way, but that just and then there was like this angle where they like he was like on his side playing with something. Just none of that. It just bothered me. I don't
it
know.
was
I felt like a pervert watching it.
right, and I
So
get
I don't know
that.
about the whole shock value thing. Like I get shock value, but to me that was just. I mean, if that's what it was supposed to be, because I did see that title, but I didn't see that it was supposed to be a PSA. So if that was the case, then okay, I guess it did do what it was supposed to do. But I think that was kind of overboard, though.
Yeah,
I think
she
that could have been depicted another way, you know.
and I agree. I'm not gonna disagree with that. This is the top of it, the thing, and it says PSA.
Oh, well, look, you just sent me that. I definitely didn't see the PSA part on there.
Yeah, it's right here on the other side.
Uh,
So I think that again, I think that it did what it was supposed to do. Could it have been in better taste? Yes. Could the boy have been in something else other than his underwear? Yes. Um, but hell, when do we do? A lot of times we do stuff in good faith, in good, with a good conscience, but we didn't realize that, the part of it that may not be in good taste. So
yeah. Well, oh, well, also, guys, we need to cut to commercial because our guest is here, but also we did have a theories and thoughts question, so I'm gonna go ahead and run that, but I'll run that while playing a commercial. Um, if I can find the commercial.
it should we judge Tiffany Aries on this 8-year-old clip?
Yeah.
Want to kill, like, okay, well, why are you here with me,
Right.
like they start, we do need men, and I had a chance to just talk to her and tell her, and she was like, well, you do it all this and third, and I say I have to.
Drop the mister, just call me Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Okay, hey girl.
I don't need nothing, no, sis. You don't need to work on that. Maybe this right here. You good. Because Liz, so fans. What the Well, thank y'all for joining us for this episode of Theories and Thoughts Deep Dive.
Hey y'all, I'm here back with our guest Arnitris. Did I say it correctly?
You did.
Thank you. And like I was saying, I have a problem with people saying my name wrong and spelling it wrong when it's right there. So I definitely want to say your name correct.
But you said, what did you say your best friend's name was?
Arnitra.
There you go. Almost the
I know,
same.
but I called you Anitra at first. And then Fancy was like, no, her name is Arnitris. I was like, oh, I mean, Arnitris, sorry. That's why I wanted to make sure. So, guys, we are back with Arnitris. Arnitris, tell our audience about yourself.
Well, thank you for extending the invitation. First of all, Fancy, you know I love you. I'll support anything you do. But I am the owner of the Blessed Dating Experience. I am a certified relationship coach, and I support women as they heal their hearts so they can make room for the love that they desire.
Okay. So there was a clip on your page. And Fancy sent it to me, and I was like, excuse me. Basically was saying, that women value decrease and men value increase when we get older. So I want you guys out there, please chime in. Please chime in. I see Jermaine was saying something way ahead of time in the comments. But what made you post that and want and open that? These, like they say, these girls like the tussle. You wanted the tussle on your hands, sis. So.
I wanted to tussle. Well, I wanted to open the conversation because there is so much conversation going around about women's value. And it seems that there is this almost campaign to humble the Black woman. And I wanted to talk about how we can kind of bridge that gap, but also I think that there's been an awakening with women in the last couple of years where we're like, wait a minute, you can't tell me how much I'm worth. And so that was the reason that I did it. Like, it was definitely shock value, wanting to open up the conversation and have some real conversations about value and about older women. I'm over 40 years old, so Kevin Samuels would call me a leftover woman, but leftovers sometimes taste better than the meal on the initial day. But yeah, that's the reason that I wrote it, because I really wanted to have this conversation about value and who can assign your value and who does it serve when they do assign your value. So I'm glad that you guys invited me to continue the conversation.
Wow. So actually, my question, just to back up a little before that, how long have you been a relationship coach?
I've been a relationship coach for 3.5 years now.
Okay. I was just curious about that because I know, that you've submitted relationship writings to the magazine, of course, but I wasn't aware that you were a coach, even though I've been following the page. So now I'm just kind of better understanding and putting everything together. So, okay, cool. But also, I'm sorry, what were we about to say, Anya?
You go ahead.
Well, I'm just kind of curious. So are you saying that basically that is the correct way, or does no one's value?
No. Now, if you listen to the reel, it was an audio of Aretha Franklin, and she's saying lies, lies, and more lies. Okay. And the topic with the caption, on the overlay on the video says women's value decreases as they get older and men's values increases. So I was saying that was a lie. No, I absolutely do not agree or believe that our value decreases as we age. Absolutely.
Okay, because I'm trying to remember the video. I know I watched it like when we before we sent the invite. So now I'm like, dang, why I didn't go back and watch that again? But my bad. I remember like in the moment. Okay, so then let's like get into it then. So actually, is there any decreasing or increasing, because I know that people be like, men as they get older, then they're more ready to settle down. They should be more successful in business, but it seems like with women, then it's like, oh, well, they're aging, they're not who they used to be, or they don't look the same, or things along the lines of that. So what is your take on the matter?
I think that honestly, as we age and we come into more of who we're supposed to be, that's how our value increases. It doesn't necessarily have to be when you turn 30 or 40, but a lot of times when we hit those milestone ages, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I know that when I was getting ready to turn 40, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm about to be 40. I haven't created anything that will live after I'm gone outside of my children. Of course, yes, I'm glad for that legacy, but I also wanted to create something that when I was no longer here, that somebody could say, oh, she was here, she made a difference. And that's why I started out as a blogger. So I think that men and women increase in their value as they get older. I don't understand where the conversation is coming that one decreases, but I think it's a part of that larger campaign that I talked about earlier about trying to humble the Black woman and put her in her place, so to speak.
I wanted to touch on that, because I truly believe that there is a campaign because, first of all, white men are scared of Black women. I've heard white men say that there's discussions on the executive level on how Black women are just so much educated and how they feel threatened by Black women. So that's one. So I think that that's where the humbling comes from, because we can run a household. We can take care of all these things. Do we want to? No. But if I need to, it can be done.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
It's not in a situation of I want to be by myself. It's just give me something to work with. You can't come with the bare minimum and expect for me to say, okay, here you go. No, because we have worked too damn hard. And part of it is, someone had mentioned one time I was having a conversation with someone. They were like, we're not that far out of the generation, away from the generation where women needed men to even get a bank account,
absolutely,
to buy a house and everything. Absolutely. So now that we have our independence, or we know that we can do more things, I agree with you. It's a great humbling. But instead of realizing that if you're working hard and I'm working hard, you don't have to work as hard because I'm helping you.
Right.
My thought is, y'all stupid. That's
I can't use that word, but I promise you, as I'm scrolling, it's like, I pray for people for the Lord to take their internet. So I'm like, Lord, why they don't need internet? Take them back to beepers and the piece of paper, and because it's like everybody that has fingers or a microphone has a podcast, and there's this campaign, and it's interesting because we're in, like I talked about, that awakening. So men they have the position, they can either rise to the occasion or not. And more often than not, I'm not saying that there aren't men that don't rise to the occasion. More often than not, they would rather drag us down to their level rather than rise to ours. And you hit on something that was very interesting that I talk about a lot. We're not really far removed from the generations where what it took to be a good man wasn't a lot. Like, as long as you paid the bills, you were a good man. You could beat, cheat, and everything else, but you would be considered a good man simply because you paid the bills. And our mothers, our grandmothers had to put up with that because they didn't have, like, we were literally, it's where the insult "you can't keep a man" comes from, because it was a time when if you didn't have a man, you couldn't keep a man, it meant your survival.
Right.
So that, it's interesting because I talk a lot about how do we get back to the love, because it seems like there's a war between the sexes. And when I talk about the things that men can do differently, a lot of times it's taken as an attack. And it's not an attack. Accountability is an act of love. I love you, and I'm telling you, this is what the women are telling me, and this is how you can work on it and fix it. But you rather take that as an attack. And it's absolutely not that. None of my, I'm not a male basher. I love men. I think they're amazing.
Listen, I love me. I love me a man.
But I think that these hard conversations are ones that we're going to have so that we can bridge the gap and get back to the loving part. I don't know many women that don't desire to be in loving, healthy relationships. But if it means that I have to lower my standards or put up with behavior that is not healthy for me, then being single is not an insult. That I would rather do that than to be in a relationship where I'm not being treated properly.
Totally.
Well, I agree with all of those things. But two things that stood out to me, because I guess I'm kind of thinking like, is it really a matter of going back to the loving? Because was the loving really there? Like you mentioned, a lot of it was the survival aspect, and that's why they stayed in those situations. So, oftentimes we hear people say things about like, oh, this generation, this is this generation, that. But in reality, like you said, a lot of those were not loving marriages, or loving relationships. It was just circumstances, and that's why they were still together. But I also I wanted to ask if you all had read the article about like how they said that there's more lonely single men now because women are, expecting more. That had kind of like, did you read that one?
I did. It was very interesting.
I didn't. Why you ain't send it to me? You send me everything else.
Look, I sent it to my brother, but I was telling him about it. But I did not. I just read the headline. So look, Arnitris, like fill us in a little bit about.
It was just talking about how women, again, and didn't use these terms, but I talked about that great awakening that's coming with women, where we are deciding what we will and will not put up with, and because men are that gap where I was talking about, they're not rising to the occasion. There are more men that are single because rather than work on these relationship skills gaps, they're single. And then again, I think that is contributing to this humbling, because it's like, how dare you not want me to come in and just pay 50-50 of the bills, So yeah, it was a really, really interesting article in Psychology Today a couple of weeks ago.
I'm gonna have to pull that up. Y'all go and pull that up. I believe that, and I agree with Fancy. Was it really love? Or was it
now
just?
That you put it that way, maybe it wasn't. But I think that when I talk about back to the loving, it seemed like that during that time they were more protective of us, rather than, now. I feel unprotected a lot of times, especially in online spaces. It's like they are, ripping you to shreds.
They want to be just
I tell my friends all the time, it's like, I feel like maybe their parents told them they could be anything they wanted to be, and the only thing they ever wanted to be was a baddie. Because it's like you out here and you arguing with women, like, is that what we doing now?
Right.
Since when are men really in conversations with women in that way? It's horrible, but it's very horrible.
It is, and I agree. Because go ahead, Fancy.
No, I was gonna acknowledge comments. You can go ahead on, and I'll just do it after this.
Okay. It does come off that way. And in dating, there's so many men that are like, you need to humble yourself. Like the guy that I'm seeing now, he asked me, he was like, so are you this independent woman that don't need a man? I said, no, sir, I am very dependent. But I can say that in dating him and talking to him, he allows me to be who I am too. And then I could be that vulnerable space. What men don't realize is when they show that masculinity is not pushing me down. Masculinity is actually loving me, right? In the space
and lifting you up. Absolutely. And that's what the relationship should be. We talk about you talked about women being the head of households and making everything happen. And I can only speak for Black women because the way my life is set up, I'm not around a lot of white women, so I don't really know. It's not that I don't care. I just don't know. I don't have a lot of them in my circle. I work from home, but we did it out of necessity. It wasn't because we wanted to do it. We didn't have a choice. It meant our survival. It was like, and I use the analogy of when giraffes used to look like horses. But because the foliage that they ate was higher in the trees, they had to adapt. It meant survival. So now they have the long neck so that they can reach the foliage in the top of the trees. It's the same thing with us. We didn't have a choice. If the man isn't in the house and we have children to take care of, if we don't get out there and take care of the children and go to work and come home, if we don't do that, it means our survival. And so now the problem becomes, because the thing is, the traits that are help us to be successful in our careers are not necessarily considered to be feminine traits. So then when you have a man to come in, sometimes it's hard to balance. But if he's creating that safe space where, okay, I know I can let my guard down. I don't have to be with the rah-rah. I can be soft, and that is a beautiful place to be, but we have to feel that safety. So you're absolutely right. He lets you be who you are. When I first started dating, I was first started getting intentional about dating. I was tired. I was tired of being the head of the household and doing all that. I was actively looking for someone that I don't have to be hard. I can get out there during the day and slay dragons, and when I come home, I can be soft. I think that a lot of women are really looking for that. I don't think that it's a negative at all.
Yeah, that makes me think about, just as you're saying, it actually makes me think about, there have been few times in my life in relationships where I feel like I have actually been able to be soft. But I will say, in both of those situations, no, actually, okay, let me take that back. It was 3, but in 2 of them, I still had to like take the lead. It just wasn't, especially in that last situation, because that could have cost me not just like my home life, but my business stuff as well. Just because he was so incapable of it, and I was really upset with myself for a really long time because I didn't see that, initially. But when those opportunities are really there though and present, like, to me, that's like being a whole different other woman, because you don't have to be bogged down by all that stuff. You actually have somebody that you can help balance the weight with. And but that's not the norm nowadays, seems like it. And I know even I think it was maybe I was having a conversation with someone, and she was just like, she was preparing to get married for the second time. And she was like, I'm not doing like in my first marriage and try to do the whole 50-50 thing. I already told him, what I make is mine. And I was like, you know what? Like, I would love to just be able to just tell somebody that up front, as opposed to just like still trying to play along with this. Because there's plenty that we could do together. But really, just even as I've just been kind of looking like amongst the males that I know, it seems like married women do not have to like handle finances the same way single women do. It's a whole different other beast, because I'll see people in financial situations, and then it's like the woman just out here just spending, and I'm like, damn, that's how y'all do it. Because I've never been able to just do that, although I don't think it's healthy, but it's still, and from that I also just, to myself, I'm thinking like, if I ever end up in that situation again, just be mindful that I'm not putting all that on a man, But at the same time, I think there's just so many things, but I don't think we were properly taught. But I really wish somebody would teach me how to hold conversations. Like, I just really wish there would start being male events, whereas they would start, like some man that has this tact or something, I don't know, and like he just kind of get them some prompts or something, because it is so hard out here in this dating online.
They trying to help them heal. Maybe they need to heal first, and then they can start having a conversation after they.
And the interesting thing is, I work with women, but I'm getting more and more men that are in my inbox like, hey, this is going on. How do I handle this? What do I say? So I definitely feel like there is an opportunity there, because some of the things that I hear online or conversations that I'm in online, and I'm like, is this how you're communicating? Because you're bringing up something that's completely irrelevant to what we're talking about. Like, what are all these smoke and mirrors? What are you doing? But yeah, I think that there's definitely an opportunity to have some conversations about communication. Absolutely.
But they have to know. I'm sorry, but they have to know that they need the help, and that's the first thing. A lot of
men talking about this, like,
We
I'm
need to have
always
a man
talking about
on. We need to have a man on. Let's talk about this
Mhm.
communication skills because honestly, and that's because we were okay. So I do mental state of entrepreneurship class, and we were talking about this amongst the instructors, and we were saying that people are not coming to the class, and I said because they don't realize they need this help. They think that they have it all together, and that's the problem. Women are more inclined to say, you know what, there might be something there I can learn. That's what women. But then once we get the encouragement and we're working through this, then we come up to this Negro who ain't got no conversation, who think because he got a little money that he can handle you any kind of way. Oh, I had a man. I remember me and one of my girlfriends was talking, and a guy actually told her that in upper echelon areas that women don't care that they may have another woman as long as they're taken care of because that's how it happens. That's how it is up there in those upper echelon. And if that's the type of man that she wants, she has to be prepared to share her man. And I'm like, really, this is the conversation. Like, y'all, you're not even trying.
It's so interesting that men think that they think that they what their priorities are or what they think is reality. They think that they can speak for every man. That's not the case for all high value men, for lack of a better word. That's not. There are high value men that want one woman and wants to love only one woman. Oh my gosh,
They don't want that drama of two women. They want to love.
Right, that's a lie. That's a lie. I was looking at Seeking Sister Wife, me and Honey, and I was like, well, Honey, would you like to have more than one? He was like, more than one you? Absolutely not. Like, that's a lie. I don't understand this need to juggle, and it's fine if that's what you want to do. I think that a lot of the issues would be solved if you're upfront and honest about that's what you want to do, and then you only date or pursue someone who wants the same thing that you want. Because the problem becomes when you are trying to pursue someone that doesn't want what you want, and then you want to change them.
Right.
Trying to lead to your pot.
Yeah, I'm definitely not for trying to change nobody. Yeah, I did not do the comments. Let me get over here. So Sharona said, depending on each person, I think men and women decrease their will to be 100% the statistical standard, which makes men think women aren't capable at home and women don't think men are capable of leading. Yeah. I mean, I do kind of think that. I wish I could say otherwise. I have saw some good men lead. I just ain't never dated none. Okay. Right. Judy Thompson said, I think because it always seemed one-sided, women also have to take accountability for their bad behavior. Women are becoming more aggressive, attentive. Yes, a woman should and could have an independency, but you can't expect a man if you don't allow him to be in the house, but also remind him what your expectations are.
I agree. I'm always talking relationship about something with somebody. And matter of fact, one of my girlfriends earlier, I was like, there's women who do not mind. Like the dude that I'm seeing now, my boyfriend, he was literally like, we was on the phone like late one evening, and he said, "What, you gonna charge me $100 to talk to me this late? To talk to you this late?" I said, "Women do that." He said, "There are women who be like, if you want to talk to me this late, you gotta pay me." And I was like, and here I am, like, I don't need, I don't want you to think I'm a gold digger. I'm like, they really bold out here in these streets. I need to get like that. So me and my girlfriend was talking earlier. And I said, she was like, I wish somebody would just offer. I said, the problem is they see that we got it together. They're like, oh, she got it together. She's fine. Or that we're going to get offended if they offer. But listen, I'm not going to get offended if you offer. Right. Like, I'm not gonna get offended. I want you to offer. But we also have to open our mouths and say, I need this. Or right. I'm gonna need help with this as well. But a woman who's been doing this so much and have dealt with F boys, it's hard for us to open our mouth and say, I need help, because they'll throw it back, because them, the type that will throw it back in your face. Well, I've had a man tell me, oh, I thought you were so independent. And I'm like, why are you crying? Because I need
independent. Does that mean that you never need help? Being independent means that you never need help? Or that you don't have human emotion? Did you say he asked you why you're crying?
That was a long time ago. But yes, he was like, you're so strong. And it's almost like they don't know what to do when you get in those in those areas when you express vulnerability. And I'm quick to tell a man, I don't need you to finance me, but I do need that emotional support. Like I need that. I'm gonna need that because the way my life's set up, I'm tired of handling everything by myself.
Absolutely. And then sometimes I think that one of the issues that Honey and I had really, really early on was that anytime I talked to him about a problem, men are different. He immediately wanted to stop. And I'm like, wait. And now I would just say, hey, I thought you were my safe space. Because sometimes I just want you to listen. You don't have to have the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I love the fact that you want everything to be right in my world. But sometimes I just need you to listen. And I think that, finding that balance, it takes some work, but you can absolutely find that balance.
Right.
I'm sitting here like, Lord, I think I had the total opposite. I just had somebody that just wanted to listen. Like, no, solve the damn problem for me. Like, one or two or something. Like, like this is supposed to be teamwork. I see Sharona said like a cowgirl.
Sharona, I don't know.
The $100.
The $100. There wasn't no call girl. It was a girl. He said a woman never did that to him, but he's heard it. He's heard of it happening.
I think it's very plausible. Like
that they're like, it's after a certain time. If you want my time, you gotta pay me. Or you gotta do this, you gotta pay for this. I've seen like the stupid girls on Facebook, they're like, you gotta buy me an outfit if you want me to go on a date with you. And here's what I see. This is what I see in the whole conversation, honestly. I see where men see that you're valuable, see your worth, but want to handle you like the women that he's used to dealing with because he don't know how to handle you. And he see that you're different. I've had dudes be like, I see that you're different. You're so different. Come after me. But then you want to treat me like them. Like you can't
because that's all they know. That's all they know. So it takes like being able to attract and maintain a relationship. The different kind of relationship takes intention. I remember, and I don't know if Honey might be watching this, but like the first 2 years that we were together, I had to talk myself out of leaving so much because there was no drama, there was peace, there was no, and I was like, what is this? It was like my brain was screaming, this isn't normal. I had to really, I remember one time I was talking to my friend and I was like, girl, I can't do this. She was like, what happened? I was like, nothing. She was like, listen, if y'all can't make it work, it ain't no hope for any of us. But it was like, it takes an intentional being like, okay, this is a different type of woman. This is a different type of man. So the way that I handle men before, the way that I handled situations before has to be different. You have to, I know that I had to constantly remind myself. So I would assume that a man would have to constantly remind himself too. Or a lot of times what they'll do is just say the easier way out and just go with the woman that's easier.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
And then that's not really a loss when they do that.
Right. But that's where I'm at now because he's different, totally different. He came after me. He pursued me. You just who he is. If I'm out late at night, he on the phone knocked out, but he on his phone until I get home to make sure I'm safe in the house. Like I've never had. I mean, I've had people say, "Call me when you get home," but I ain't. I haven't had that in our conversations and stuff. So then I never wanted to date a man who had children, and he have children. And it's just, and I said it, and he told me, he said, listen, every time you say that, it makes me feel like you trying to run. So look, either you gonna be here or you not. So you gonna get, or you gonna stay here?
Okay, question. If you didn't want to date men with children, why are you entertaining him? Why did you entertain him from jump?
I'm open to it now. And that's the crazy thing. Like, I'm good with him having children, but it's like if he say something about his ex-wife or something, I'll be like, that's why I don't want to date no man with no children.
So that's the reason, because of the ex. You didn't want to deal with baby mama.
Yes, that's why. And he's like, she ain't no problem. And then but he got me together. He got me all the way together. He was like, look, don't say that no more. Don't say that no more. Either we gonna make this work. We gonna see what this is gonna be. Are you gonna go? Because I don't want to hear that. That makes me feel like you're not sure. And I had to step back and be like, you know what? You're right. But I'm not used to no man. I mean, I'm not used to no man with his personality. Just everything about this man is different for me. And maybe I was scared. And I had to come to grips like, girl, maybe you are scared because, like you say, it's no drama. We're not arguing. It's like, okay, babe, what you need, this, that, and the third. And it ain't been that long. So I'm like, wait, I didn't dealt with men that longer than this, and they ain't never had this act right in their spirit. So you're right,
It's an adjustment for sure. It's an adjustment. And honey, I'm sorry if you're listening. I'm sorry, but the first 2 years I was always on the way out the door.
honey, but she here. Honey, but she's there. Y'all really got all the way off our subject, I feel. Or maybe
Well, we kind of went into it more early on, and so, but I don't know.
Okay.
But well, anything else, Arnetris, you want to share with us before we wrap up? Like any tips or tools or something?
Well, the number one tool is just, first of all, I think that the first thing that you need to do when you are getting really serious about dating is figuring out what your goal is. Like, you want something casual, you want something committed, be clear about that. And then the next thing is to only date those people that want the same things that you do. Because when you don't, then you end up in a complicated relationship or a situationship. So know what it is that you want. And then I shared a tip on my reel today. Be willing to walk away. I feel like that's the number one thing that women they are suffering with, is that they're not willing to walk away, or they don't know when to walk away. When it's not serving you, when it's not giving you what you need, when it's unhealthy, when the communication isn't there, when the level of commitment isn't there, be willing to walk away. I remember when before honey, that I kind of gave up my power, and it was whatever. I didn't want to say anything because he might leave. And I was doing these things trying to make him see my worth. Not even figuring out, do I really even like this dude? I'm trying to make him like me. Do I really like him? Like, is he even a good person? So know what it is that you want. And then when it's not being served, be willing to walk away. Because the longer that you hold on to that relationship that's not serving you, is the longer you're prolonging the one that will serve you to come.
That's good.
Well, I'm single, y'all, so I don't know. I'm still trying to. I love the advice. I feel like, because I'm on this app and it's like it asks what your goals are, basically. And I said that I'm figure mine out. I'm on Hinge, and it's getting like pissed in that pool too. Really,
that's really, so now they're integrated, because Hinge was the one that I would recommend a lot. So more people are seeing it. They got commercials and everything now. So they're migrating over there, because Hinge was one of the top tier dating sites for a while.
Yeah, girl, that's what somebody else told me too. You got what?
I got off all dating sites. Facing that, I got off all of them. My friend seen me off a picture on his cousin page.
Well, and look, I see Ingrid said, I just want to acknowledge that because that be willing to walk away. Well, she said be willing to walk away. Truly a struggle for me right now. And I know, Ingrid, that really can be a struggle. But I've said, even with the people that I've been meeting, like which my dating goal still isn't defined, but I'm more inclined now to not keep having these, these ongoing conversations, and I can tell like, hey, this really not going anywhere. And I'm not really trying to I guess you say market myself in any sort of way either. Like, either you're interested in me or you're not, but I'm not trying to do anything extra. And that's really different for me, but it has been an interesting experience. I will say that. But at the same time,
it will be different for you because you're a boss lady. But another tip that I will give you, mirror his efforts. When you're dating him, don't do any more or any less than he's doing. If he calls, you answer. If he don't call, you don't call. Because his level of interest is going to be, one of the things that had me really hung up is that they would say one thing and do something else. So I'm looking at their words. When their words and actions are not in alignment, his actions are always going to tell you how he feels about you.
I'm gonna holler at you.
Because a man that really wants you, He wants you in his life. He's not going to leave any room for doubt in your mind. When Honey and I got together, I was dating 5 dudes. I'm in Atlanta. I was living it up. And I like they had their days. They knew Monday night, you don't call me on Tuesday asking to go out. Your night was Monday night.
See,
you know. And when Honey and I got together, and I told him, I was like, I'm dating 5 guys right now. And he said, okay. And he was the only guy, because all the other guys like, okay, when are you gonna stop dating the other? I'm like, when I get ready. Like right now, I was doing research for the Blessed Dating Experience. But Honey was like, I said, well, wait a minute now. Just because I'm dating 5 guys, it don't mean I'm sleeping with all of them.
Right.
Exactly. Knowing you probably not sleeping with not any of them. Well, I wasn't. And that was it. That was the only conversation we had. But what he did was we would go out this weekend. The next weekend, he'll say, hey, have you ever been to such and such place? I was thinking about, well, do you want to go there? And this went on for 3 months. 3 months. Every single weekend, this man had something planned. And my friend was like, oh, so you got a boyfriend now? Wait a minute. No, I don't. I'm dating. She said, girl, you haven't been going out with anybody else. You have been going out with him every weekend. And I thought, oh, my goodness. And I asked, I said, you know what? You think you slick because you never said anything. You just made sure that you made plans every weekend. He was like, yeah, when a man knows what he wants, like, why did I have to say? Yes, I made it so that you didn't even want to spend time with these other dudes. Wow. Okay, so that let me know. There's no excuse. No amount of busy, no amount of work, no amount of tired is going to keep a man from making sure that you know he wants you in your life.
Yeah.
Listen.
And sometimes you keep talking about the guy that you with is complete. It's like what you're saying is he is not the type of guy you've ever dated, or he's not your type. Sometimes the guy for you is completely opposite of your type.
No, he's my type.
He is your type?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's
just said he's what I've been wanting to date, but I hadn't met yet.
Okay.
Because he did me that too. He was like, I don't care who you did. Because I told him I date and date often. He said, okay. And he was like, I'm just going to take up all your time so you don't have time to talk to them.
I think that if he would have told me that, I'd be like, no, you're not going to take up my time. And I think
that's what I said, but I mean, he took up all my time. And now I'm like, okay, whatever. But I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the experience. He is definitely something that I've been wanting to experience. Because these guys, they see you, like you said, boss lady. Oh, you running this, you doing this. He was like, oh, I told him I date bosses. He said, oh. He said, oh, so I got to get by, because he got other businesses besides his full-time, and I have business outside my full-time. And he was like, oh, well, I need to really get on my stuff. So instead of being threatened by me, it made him want to level up. Because to him, he like, you got to come up off that job. You got to come up off that job, and you can do whatever you want when you come up off that job. But I know you're not coming off that job until, there's a certain amount of money that's being made. And I was like, yep, most dudes, what you bring it to the table, what you got, this, that, and third. He wasn't like that. He was like, look, I want to make such amount of money. I don't want my wife to have to work. I don't want this. I don't want that.
What am I bringing to your broke down table? Nothing. Absolutely.
So see, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
But coming on, we're gonna have to have you back on. We're gonna have a round table discussion, Fancy. We're just gonna have to do that. All right.
We have some men on so we can really, get deeper into the conversation.
So we have Miss Arnitris L Strong, the Blessed Dating Experience .online, and on Instagram is Blessed B the Tie. Did I say
Wait,
that right?
Did I leave out the D? My bad, Arnitris.
What?
I think I left out the D. It's Blessed, right?
Oh, so
yeah,
it's BLESSDBTHETIE. That's what it is. So you guys contact her as y'all see honey going strong. I like when you say honey. And thank you so much, like I said, for coming on. Fancy had showed me the clip. I was like, oh, we gotta have her on. We gotta talk about this. Well, I didn't just say that. It's so I always say It be both of us talk about stuff, y'all. Y'all
I
know
was
me.
like, Lord, she done tag somebody. What does that mean?
That was me. That was look
It
at
was
this.
a good thing.
That was a good thing. This is what we do all the time. We be like, look at this. Did you see this? And stuff like that. So it was an awesome thing. And she was like, we don't have her on the show. I was like, yep, we need to. So thank you again
Thank
for
you for
joining.
having me.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Lessons.
That was true. And I think that I had to learn how to, I think a lot of people don't want to be by themselves. And it's the art of learning to be okay with being alone is what really helps you with your singleness. You too comfortable being, you like, look, I ain't for this foolishness. Bye, boy. But I was hoping you was gonna meet a professor or something up at that school.
So I'm looking for a law student. Like, because we got we have a law school there. So I have always dreamed of marrying a lawyer. That's really the truth.
Really?
But yeah, that or a D boy. So I think lawyer was the best option.
I think lawyer is the best thing. We don't want to know D boy. Anywho, tonight I am wearing. I just realized while we were filming it, I don't have the sticker on here to tell me what color this is. But this is the Candy Lady. This is a gloss that I'm wearing on my lips. I don't know the name of it, which I know I wear her products all the time. Earrings are Shanita Designs. Sanita Designs. I get so many compliments on my earrings. People be like, let me have them earrings. And sometimes I let them have it.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, I am Fancy. Girl, I was like, okay, Fancy. You can find me. Oh, wait. What we have right here? Okay. My website is Lady CEO, Lady spelled with an I, CEO.com. You can find me on all platforms, Lady CEO. You can take that Clubhouse off. I ain't been on Clubhouse in forever. My email is arnya@ladyco.com.
Okay, and you all can find everything Swagger Magazine at Swagger Magazine, including our website, which is swaggeronline.com. I realized I didn't have that there. But everything pertaining to me is Fancy Swagger, and yeah.
If you have if you have any comments, concerns, would like to be a guest on the show, you can email us at theoriesandthoughts@ladyco.com. Also, be sure to like our page at Theories and Thoughts brand. Fancy put it in the comments a while ago. Oh, there it is right there. Follow us on Instagram, Theories and Thoughts brand. Yeah. So I think that's it. You have a healing issue coming out?
Yes, we are looking for advertisers. If anybody is interested, you can purchase a ad space, or you can purchase a feature, like an interview feature within the issue. If anybody's interested, this is my direct email here. So you can email me at fancy@swagger.net. That's SWAGHER.net. I think that's everything.
That's everything. We're going to see y'all a little bit later.
Peace and blessings.